The Honourable Minister Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to correct an answer I gave in the House this afternoon.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, this afternoon in response to a supplementary question and question 1, I listed a number of countries' growth rates. I mistakenly referenced China when I should have referred to Canada.
Thank you. I call David Clendon.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I'm pleased to take a brief call to this bill to confirm the Greens will be supporting this bill to Select Committee. These bills are necessary and important. Some might call them a necessary evil, given the intensity and the detailed work that must sit behind them. I must compliment Mr Bailey on his obvious enthusiasm for the task. That positive attitude is to be complimented, I think. If I may just digress momentarily too, Mr Bishop, in extolling the virtues of the Regs Review Committee, which are undoubtedly many, referred to it as a bipartisan way of operating, and given the makeup of the committee, one hopes it's actually a multi-partisan approach that committee takes. Sir, in those, no, certainly I'm not, Mr Parker, no. Sir, the only things that I won't say concerns, that the only aspect of this bill about which we are unsure is that normally it's the practice for these bills, the validation and confirmation bills, to go through the House under the auspices of Standing Order 325. Which effectively means that where the matters contained in the bill are limited solely to confirmation and validation matters, then the first reading is without debate. It is sent off to committee immediately for the serious and no doubt detailed work which will be done there. It then comes back for a second reading, which is debated. Then the third reading is held forthwith without debate, unless for some unusual exception a reason emerges for resolving the House into a committee stage. So generally speaking, sir, the grunt work, if you like, is done at the Select Committee level with only one reading in the House. So we're simply unsure as to why the Minister has chosen to include matters that are out of scope for a validation and confirmation bill, namely the amendments to the Legislation Act, which no doubt are well-intentioned and may be very necessary and important, but we're just not clear to us why he has chosen rather to not to simply create an amendment to the Legislation Act and leave the validation confirmation stuff to go through under Standing Order 325. However, we will see how that resolves itself in the course of the Regs Review Committee, which we'll participate in, and we look forward with interest to seeing how this eventually does pan out in the House. Thank you.
Mr Speaker.
I call Dennis